Here is a sequence that I'm recording for one of my clients. It addresses the red light reflex, so that's where the front of the body becomes very contracted through the abdominal muscles and the chest. I'm adding an element of a walking movement in as well to really help to get the pelvis to move. So I hope you enjoy it. So just taking some time to come into your stoma scan. Giving yourself some time to readjust to being horizontal. And just feeling the ebb and flow of your body adjusting to stillness, to your inner gaze. Notice what can yield, what settles. And just start to put your attention actually into your pelvis and notice if you feel that you're weighted more towards your tailbone. Do you feel as if you are tilted a little bit to the left or the right with your pelvis? Just giving yourself a moment to settle and adjust here. Feeling now into your lower back. You can actually use a hand if you wish to sense the space in your lower back. And you could even feel with the back of your hand the tension, the tonus of your muscles. Is it the same on each side? And then just notice how much of the back of your rib cage is in contact with the floor. Moving up to your shoulder blades and shoulders. Where are you heaviest through there? This is giving you feedback where you feel resistance and tension, or maybe lightness. That could be sensory motor amnesia there. And notice how your arms come to rest by your side. Notice the position of your head. Do you feel like your chin is lifted or tilted to one side? And then move your awareness all the way down your spine again. And let your awareness diverge down each leg. So you're sensing how each leg makes contact with the floor. And then very lazily sliding your feet up. Not too close towards your buttocks, not too far away. Find your comfort place. And place your hands on your belly. And as best you can, relax your belly, which isn't always easy when you've got a red light reflex dominance. You've got habitually tight abdominal muscles there. And just feeling the rise and fall of your belly, encouraging a relaxed belly as much as you can to improve the depth and the pace of your breath. We want ideally abdominal muscles, abdominal breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing. And because this lesson is for red light reflex, we're going to start with flatten. So with your next exhale, you're going to start to move your back towards the floor, letting your pelvis roll backwards. So you're gently trying to bring your back towards the floor, but feel your abdominal muscles lifting up into your hands as your belly contracts to lengthen out your back. And then letting that go softly, slowly, like you're melting out of that movement. Taking a breath in, exhaling, pressing the back into the floor, the belt line. Feel your back rounding as the abdominal muscles tighten. And notice if your head rolls back. Slowly release. Like your head and pelvis are two wheels on a bicycle going in the same direction. And taking an inhale and an exhale. Drawing the back to the floor, head and pelvis rolling backwards, and even let your shoulders lift. And we're going to pause here and breathe, getting a sense of your rib cage sliding down towards your pelvis. And then slowly, slowly, slowly release that. And then just pausing for a minute. Feeling your breath. Try taking a deeper breath in and notice if that feels easier for the abdominals to release. And then with that next inhale, take yourself into an arch. Let your pelvis roll forwards as the chin drops down. Sensing the arch in your back is increased. You can feel that tonus with the back of your hands. That tension has increased there. And then slowly let that go. And you're not using your abdominal muscles, you're keeping those quiet so that your brain can sense the release in your back muscles. For better coordination and control between the front and the back. Inhaling. I like to keep my hands here, but you can keep your arms by your side. And noticing, and I'm feeling the back, breathing into my hand on my belly, and then exhaling, releasing. Try to feel, you really give yourself a chance to release fully out of that contraction. And then inhaling. And try to feel that that comes from your pelvis, not the ribs do get involved, but you're starting with the pelvis. Pausing at the top to really feel the belly soften. And release. And just taking a few resting breaths to really give your brain a chance to let that go. And then from here we're going to move into the flower, bringing the arms further away from the sides. And we continue with the arch. So inhaling, head and pelvis spilling forwards, like the arms roll open. Palms rolling up. Take at least a couple of breaths to let that go. Sometimes you might sense how your body Your nervous system is responding to this. I often have these little jiggles and wiggles, which I'm not going to try and suppress. I just let my nervous system respond in this instinctive way. And now we're going to move into the flatten. So with an exhale, I'm sinking my ribs down towards my pelvis, my back into the mat. And I'm rolling my shoulders off the floor, and I'm rolling my arms in close to my sides, even pressing my arms against my legs, tipping my head back, creating as much of a contraction through the front as I can. And then I'm going to slowly let that go, melting out. And I'm keeping my back quiet to come back to neutral. I'm not arching my back. And as I release them there, letting my arms slide away, opening my palms up to get more of a release through my chest. And then inhaling, nice belly breath in, rolling my shoulders into the floor, rolling my arms up. I'm now going to add my legs, folding the knees open. And that helps my chin to come down. Take an extra breath into my belly, and then exhaling, releasing my back. Feeling what I'm doing. And then bringing my knees up, planting my feet on the floor. Pausing, making sure I've really relaxed my back once my feet are planted. And there's still more to let go of. I can feel my back is still releasing here. So don't cheat yourself out of that. And then as I exhale, starting to sink the back, really sinking my chest in and ribs, rolling my arms in. And then I'm going to press my knees together and roll onto the inside edges of my feet. This is the full expression of the red light reflex. Tightness through the centre of the body, inner thighs, down into the feet, all the way up to the head. And then from my centre, I'm going to let that go. It's almost like an effortless release, but I'm feeling what I'm doing, staying present. Using these movements to calm the nervous system, to reset and renew. Inhaling, rolling the pelvis forwards, rolling the palms up, letting the knees fold open and allowing the chin to drop down. And you can explore gently pressing the outside of your feet into the floor to create a little bit more depth to your contraction in your back. You might feel this in the glutes as well. And then slowly easing the back. And you might notice as the back starts to soften towards the floor, the knees start to come up. And then I'm going to bring the knees up. And plant the feet to the floor. And then one more time in the flatten, sinking the ribs, rolling the arms in, back of the hands pressing against the legs, and then tipping the knees together, squeezing them together. Feel that tension through the front. We'll consciously create it so that we can become more conscious of when we create any tension in our chest, in our belly. We notice it, we have control to release out of it using the pandicular response. So pausing here, just waiting for my nervous system to readjust from here. Lots of sighs and yawns. Really good sign that you're resetting, releasing more of out of the autonomic nervous system, that fight, flight or freeze response. And you're coming back in line, more in line with the parasympathetic nervous system. So I'm just going to slide my legs straight, take a revisit back into my Soma scan. What feels different? Okay, bringing the feet back to the floor. Putting the focus back into the pelvis, and I'm just going to allow my pelvis and knees to just gently go to the left. So notice when my brain naturally ends that movement, and then rolling the pelvis and knees back up, and I'm not pushing through my feet, I'm really trying to connect to my centre, and then I'm going to the right, sensing which way feels easier to go, feeling this length through the left side, and then slowly rolling the pelvis back up. And I'm noticing as I roll my pelvis to the left, I'm feeling the right rib cage open up. Just not pushing it, I'm not aiming for a stretch. I'm noticing what is. Just gently going the other way. Is my head turning? And which direction does my head want to go? So I've got a sense of that rolling motion of the pelvis and how the knees fold over as the pelvis moves. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different. As I roll my pelvis to the right, I'm going to let my left knee reach forwards. It's a shorter movement. It's one of the walking patterns in somatics, and I'm going to slowly let that go. Staying with this same focus side. As I roll a little bit to the right with my pelvis, my left knee reaches forwards. And I'm allowing my back on the left side to lengthen, and then slowly letting that go. And relaxing there. And then rolling the pelvis to the right, letting the left knee gently reach forwards. I'm not forcing this. And then letting that go. Taking a few resting breaths. And then now starting to roll my pelvis to the left, and now reaching my right knee forwards. And you might be able to sense as you do this how the opposite knee, the left knee, retracts in as the right knee reaches forwards. And then slowly letting that go. So just getting a hang of this movement. And then rolling the pelvis to the left as the right hip will lift slightly and the knee will reach forwards. And then if I start to retract the knee in, the right knee in, the pelvis rolls back to level. And then so I could explore reaching my right knee forwards to encourage my pelvis to roll to the left. And I'm going to pause and just relax there. And now I'm going to integrate that into side to side. So reaching with the left knee and the hip will lift a little bit as the pelvis rolls to the right. Now as I roll my pelvis back along the floor, I'm going to imagine there's a horizontal line that my pelvis needs to trace. And then I'm going to reach my right knee forwards and allowing the pelvis to roll to the left. And then as I release there, just following that horizontal line. So my pelvis doesn't hike. I don't shorten my waist, my right side of my waist to bring my pelvis back. Reaching forward with the left knee. Releasing that, reaching forwards with the right knee. And I'm just starting to coordinate that a little bit quicker now. Almost as if I was walking on the spot. And I'm just letting my muscles contract and release. I'm not gripping or holding anything. I'm just letting my body do what it would naturally and instinctively do. Waist muscles contracting as I release out. So as I reach forward with my left knee, my left waist lengthens, but my right waist muscles tighten. So just feeling that interplay. There's a natural contraction and releasing of my abdominal muscles, but I'm not interfering with that. I'm not engaging my core in order to do this movement. And then finishing with the right knee, and then pausing here. And again, just letting my pelvis settle. And going back to that twist and notice how it feels. My knees go to the left, and I can feel that going a lot further. That's not always the aim in somatics. You just want to feel comfort. And then I'm rolling my pelvis again across that imaginary line, up and over, pelvis and knees to the right. And there's just a lot more freedom there. And rolling the pelvis along that imaginary line, up and over. And now I'm going to put my focus into my head, and I'm going to let my head roll to the right. Opposite movement to pelvis and knees. Rolling the head back and head to the left as the pelvis and knees go to the right. I'm feeling this lovely space, and you can pause and breathe. I'm not aiming for a stretch. And then as I roll my pelvis up, head comes up, I'm going to pause, take a breath in. Breathing out, letting the pelvis and knees go to the left as the head goes to the right. Holding this here, breathing into my right side. In and out. And then inhaling. So feather-like pressure through the feet, so I'm really using my centre, my muscles through my waist. Abdominals naturally kicking in. And I'm going to take a breath in, and now take a twist on the exhale. Head to the left, pelvis and knees to the right, just noticing how that feels. And then breathing in, rolling up, changing that on an exhale, head to the right, pelvis and knees to the left. Lots of ways you can vary your somatic practice. And then head up, so head rolling backwards as the knees come up. Pausing here. Sliding legs long. Finding a comfortable place for my arms. And taking in all what feels new, what feels the same. And then a quiet moment just to not even try and sense or make sense of the how and why of the changes, just a few quiet moments. And then bringing my feet to the floor. And I can feel a yawn wanting to come, so I'm not going to try and stifle that yawn. It's a great sign, again, of another change. And I hope you've enjoyed those explorations, and I hope that you feel the benefits and you feel different. Thank you for joining me.